The best top 5 scariest places in America. Number 5. The Moundsville Penitentiary. Many have died inside of this horrible and fearsome prison. Around 1,000 inmates in total have died, and most of them murdered in violence. Established in 1866, it is said to be one of the most haunted places on the East Coast, let alone America. One of the most notable ghosts in this prison is what's known as the Shadow Man, and he lurks the halls with the many other ghosts in this prison. Another ghost that is commonly seen is the maintenance man who worked down in the basement, and he was reportedly stabbed to death for reporting about what the prisoners were doing. There are tours of this prison you can take, and they begin when the sun goes down. That's when the fun starts, because at nighttime, that's when the prison really starts to come alive. Number 4. Step Cemetery. Benton, Indiana houses one of the most famously haunted cemeteries in America. It is incredibly tiny and has roughly around 24, mostly ruined grave markers. There are several legends regarding the cemetery, the first being that apparently a cult had founded the cemetery and they practiced witchcraft, animal sacrifices, and sex orgies. One of the other stories is that a woman whose infant had died was buried there long ago, and the ghost of the crying mother can be seen by an old, rotten stump. She supposedly dug up her dead infant and then killed herself. Whatever the story is, the cemetery is incredibly haunted. Number 3. The Allegheny Lunatic Asylum. Of course, there had to be an insane asylum on this list. This particular asylum isn't a joke. It's a humongous hospital with over 2.5 miles of hallways which many ghosts walk. Built in 1858, the building was originally built to only house 250 patients at a time, but during its peak into the 1950s, it had well around 2,000 different patients living there. The asylum was officially closed down in 1994, but people who have toured it said they could feel a presence, or that things around them would suddenly move. Number 2. The Winchester Mystery House. This house was built by a wealthy woman in the Victorian era by the name of Sarah Winchester. She was the widow of the Winchester rifle manufacturer's son. After experiencing close family deaths from her husband and daughter, she sought out spiritual guidance to aid her depression. The witch told Sarah that she would be haunted by ghosts of all those who were killed with a Winchester rifle and that she was cursed. She was ordered by the medium to build a house for the lost souls and to never stop building. For the next 38 years of her life, that house would be continuously constructed on day and night until she died. This place is well known for its long, mile-long hallways, doors, and staircases that lead to virtually nowhere, or openings in walls like a secret maze. It's a Victorian mansion horror show in there, and tourists are more than welcome to check it out. Number 1. The St. Louis Cemetery. New Orleans is a city that's rich with black magic, witchcraft, occult, voodoo, and all other sort of pagan magic and rituals. This particular cemetery happens to be the oldest cemetery in the city. This cemetery is home to many different ghosts, but feature a different layout than a typical graveyard. Its above-ground mausoleums and winding paths make it extremely eerie after dark. It's even said that the voodoo queen of all of New Orleans is said to be buried in this very cemetery.